the heart is an amplifier. And that's when they say you come from your heart. You're actually coming from your consciousness, putting it on a carrier wave, and your heart's sending it out to the world. And that's why when people are coming from their heart, they have much more power in manifesting anything around them than people who are just coming from their head. And this becomes really critical because the heart is the driver that makes it work.
Welcome everybody to the Heart Coherence Collaborative. We're so excited today. We have Dr. Bruce Lipton joining us.
Welcome.
This is truly a dream come true for both of us. So welcome.
Welcome me?
Yeah, welcome you.
I thought, oh, wow, welcome the wonderful audience that we have out there, which I think is really welcome because these are the cultural creatives that are looking for answers outside of the box because the ones in the box aren't working very well, are they?
That's true.
No.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me. And I want to thank you for having this wonderful audience that we can talk with.
Beautiful. Yeah, they're all super excited to hear from you. So before we officially introduce you, let's dive into the heart together to put us all into a peak state. So we start each meeting off with heart coherence. Physiologically, heart coherence is when the heart, the immune and nervous and hormonal systems are all in energetic alignment. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just explain a little bit for anybody who's new what the steps are, and then Kyle will start leading us.
Yeah.
So basically, we're going to focus our attention on the area of the heart. You can put your hand on your heart. It's a good way to just really focus your attention there. You can do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. I invite you to close your eyes if you can. And we will be breathing in and out of our heart, 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out.
Great. All right. So if everyone could focus your attention on the area of your heart and imagine that your breath is flowing in and out of your heart, your chest area, breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. Try a pace of 5 seconds on the inhale, 5 seconds on the outhale.
Okay. And continuing that breath in and out of your heart, feel into a feeling of appreciation for something or someone. So it could be a place that you go that you love. It could be a pet, it could be a person or a memory. Smile into the feeling of appreciation and breathe it in and out of your heart.
Now, as you continue to breathe in and out through your heart, think about a moment in your life that you're proud of. It could be any moment. Maybe you overcame a fear. Maybe you did something you always dreamed of doing. But just as you breathe in and out of your heart, think about that moment and be there now as you breathe in and out.
And next, remember a recent time or any time that you were the receiver of appreciation or gratitude or a gift. Remember that feeling of having someone say some words of thank you or tell you how wonderful you are or give you a really thoughtful gift. And just feel into how good that felt, how good it feels to be the receiver.
Now, lastly, as you continue to breathe in and out through your heart, think about a place in your life which makes you feel a state of ease. This could be a place in nature, it could be a forest or at the beach or the ocean, anywhere that just makes you feel a deep state of ease. Breathe in that ease with each and every breath in and out through your heart. Thank you. And thanks again, everybody, for joining us. I'm so excited to introduce our special guest speaker today, Dr. Bruce Lipton. Dr. Bruce Lipton is a cell biologist and lecturer. He's an internationally recognized leader in bridging science and spirit. Bruce was on the faculty of the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and later performed groundbreaking stem cell research at Stanford University. He's the best-selling author of The Biology of Belief, The Honeymoon Effect, and co-author with Steve Weharm on Spontaneous Evolution. Thank you so much, Bruce, for joining us.
I am so excited, Leah, Kyle, for being back again with you because we have so many wonderful things to talk about. You know, and as we were going through that heart exercise, I was thinking, you know, there's something very important about that when you put wires on a person's head, it's called EEG, electroencephalograph, and you can read brain function.
Mm,
And there are different levels of vibration activity. The lowest one is delta, sleep. And then just before you awaken, you go into theta. Theta is like mixing the real world and the imaginary world together. Sometimes, like if you have a clock radio and it turns on the radio and you're still sleeping, the
yeah.
radio
Yes.
story becomes part of your story.
Mm,
And then when you awaken, you're in alpha, which is calm consciousness. And when you go to work, you're in beta.
mm,
What's really interesting is there's even a higher vibration, and it's called gamma. I say, so what's gamma associated with? You ready? Peak performance.
mm,
Like a pilot will fly the plane in beta, but when it comes to landing the plane, they jump up to the higher vibration gamma. Or let's say a person, let's say a tennis player playing, you know, regular is in beta, but when they're in a competition that's really severe, they get into gamma, peak performance.
mm,
Well, here's an interesting story. There's a relaxation technique called Cook's hookup, which allows the right and left hemispheres to come in harmony, which causes people to relax and the vibrations calm down. And here was the coolest part that someone identified, a friend of mine in England, that when you're in this Cook's hookup, it's called, and your vibrations start to go down, he then says to the person, he says, "No, I want you to come from your heart. Come to your heart." And
mm,
within 45 seconds, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, this gamma shoots up. And it's just like, oh my God, it's peak performance when you are coming from your heart. And it's really cool. So the exercises you were just doing were very helpful to bring us up to this higher stage of electroencephalograph work, consciousness, higher stage of consciousness. So it's not just, oh, that's really nice. No, no, this is profoundly important because when we come from our heart, we're coming from our highest level. And so thank you for opening the show with "Let's Get Up There."
Yeah, I would love to follow up on what you just said with asking, like, what is it about, like, why are positive emotions so important to access? What's so important about gratitude, appreciation, bliss, wholeness, joy?
Well,
Yeah,
well, there are several different things. Uh,
yeah.
First of all, a cell, a biology, a body has two different phases. It can be in growth or it can be in protection. It
Mm,
can't be in both at the same time. I'll give you a simple reason. Growth is if there's a stimulus out there, whether it's a good meal or a friend or whatever it is, you go to that stimulus, arms open to take it in. So you go to the stimulus, arms open. But if it's a threat out there, you don't go to the stimulus, you go away from the stimulus, and you don't keep your arms open, but you close them down because that's protection.
mm,
So, what's the point? You can't go to a stimulus and away from a stimulus at the same time. You can't be open and you can't be closed at the same time.
mm,
So, anything that puts you into a growth phase encourages your vitality. Anything that threatens you shuts down your system in a protection mode. And it just interferes with your consciousness, your biology, even your immune system gets shut down when you're in a protection mode. I mean, there's a simple reason why two main things happen in a state of protection. Well, there's three. I call that the insult to injury. So I guess I'll talk about it. But the two main things that happen is this. When you're in a state of threat, that's a state of like basic running away from the saber-toothed tiger. Okay.
mm,
That's the fear. And protection means you got to, which part of your body are you going to use running away from the tiger? Like your pancreas? I go, no, no, your arms and legs
Yeah.
because you need to. And I go, so here's the key. The blood in your body carries the energy.
mm,
And when you're in a state of resting or not anxious, the blood is mainly in the gut, the viscera. I said, so what's there? I go, well, that's all the things of maintenance and growth and cleaning and fixing, taking care of the air, taking care of the blood. So you're taking care of yourself in a state of growth because the blood is in the viscera nourishing that. And I go, yeah, but if you're running away from a saber-toothed tiger, I don't think I need to worry about growth at this moment. I need to worry about getting out. And so here's point number one. In that threat, the stress hormones cause the blood vessels in the gut to squeeze shut. And you can feel it. A lot of people feel it's called butterflies in the stomach. You get a little queasy. It's like you're afraid, but you get a little queasy. I say, what's that all about? I say, those are the blood vessels shutting. I say, why should they shut? And the answer is because it forces the blood to go out to the periphery, arms and legs. That's where I need it to run away from the tiger. So I shut down growth of the viscera to put blood into my arms and legs. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, the immune system protects you from a threat on the inside. Yeah. But if the tiger's chasing you, who cares about the threat on the inside? I go, I got a bacterial infection and a saber-toothed tiger chasing me. I think, where should I put my energy? And the hell with the infection. A tiger catches you, the infection's not a problem anymore. So very important fact, profoundly, everyone listen. Stress hormones specifically shut down the immune system because the taking care of the inside is not as important as taking care of the whole thing running away. In fact, stress hormones are so good at this that when doctors want to transplant an organ from person A into person B, the recipient of that organ is given stress hormones before the operation because it reduces the function of the immune system, which would be rejecting the graft. And so you don't want the immune system to reject a graft. So you give them stress hormones, which what? Shuts down the immune system. I go, well, guess what? In today's world, just watch the news for a moment and all of a sudden your immune system is going.
Yeah.
So that's number two. So number one, stress hormones shut down growth because feeding the viscera for its functions, not worth the of running away. I need to get the blood into the arms and legs. Again, to conserve energy, because look, the immune system uses a lot of energy. If you've ever been sick, sometimes you don't have the energy to get out of bed. So it's like, well, when it's operating, it could drain you of energy. Yeah, but if you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, the hell with the immune system. And so you shut that down. So those are two insults to the system. In other words, if I'm not under stress, I'm nourishing my body and I'm encouraging my immune system, I'm staying healthy. But the moment I'm under stress, both of those things shut down and I'm ready to fight or flight. And then I said, well, there's a third one. I call that adding insult to injury. And the answer about what that means is this. The brain has the forebrain where conscious thinking is, conscious thinking, and the hindbrain, which is like habit and reflex behavior. Conscious thinking is slow. I mean, imagine your car is going out of control and it's spinning, and I say, stay in the conscious mind. It's like, oh. I say, yeah, but the moment the car starts to go out of control, the stress hormones go in. Remember, I told you they squeeze the blood vessels in the gut. They squeeze the blood vessels in the forebrain. I say, why? Because it pushes the blood to the hindbrain, which is a million times more powerful than the forebrain as a machine processor. And I go, so why is it relevant? I go, because the moment the car is going out of control, it's, oh, well, you're turning the wheel, hitting the pedals, you're doing everything beyond fast, so fast. Okay.
Yes.
So when you're in a stressful situation, thinking is slow. And therefore, the system doesn't want you to be slow. It needs you to go, boom, react, reflect right away. So the blood vessels from the same chemistry, squeezing the blood vessels down the gut, squeeze the blood vessels here, push it to the hindbrain, we become less intelligent when we're under stress because now we're reactive. And it gets to a point that sometimes you're so afraid that you take care of me. And then we give up control to the guy with the bigger stick.
Yeah.
You take care of me. Well, that means we're a victim. Victim means we're powerless. I go, when stress hormones are in the system, the only power you have is to run. And I go, and the relevance about that is very simple. And that is that it was only designed with saber-toothed tigers in mind. I go, why is that relevant? They say, well, the saber-toothed tiger is chasing you. I go, yeah, and I'm running like crazy. I got blood in my arms and legs. I got all the energy. And I say, yeah, but If you escape that tiger in a few minutes of running, then there's no more threat. And then all of a sudden, the stress hormones are gone, and then you're back into growth and everything else. But today, stress is 24/7, 365. A human body was never designed to be maintaining a stress situation because it suppresses the vitality of the system. And in today's world, with the idea of COVID, everyone's afraid. I go, and guess what? The one thing you wanted was your immune system to work. And the one thing that's not working because you're afraid is the immune system. I go, the more fear people have, the sicker they become.
Yes.
And this is a wake up call that says, man, we have to stop listening to that fear drum. They keep beating the drum. Everybody's gonna die. I go, no, somebody's gonna die. You know, there are people who are indeed vulnerable because they're already stressed immune system. People that live in stress are already open to a problem. Older people whose immune system are not working up to the fullest capability, they're under threat because their immune system is already compromised. And then there's the people with what are called comorbidities. I go, what are they? I say, these are stressors on the system that are chronic. Overweight is one of the biggest ones. In the serious cases of COVID, 78% of those serious patients were overweight. Why? Overweight is a challenge to the system, and you're already challenging your immune system before the damn virus showed up. So that's a big problem. Diabetes type 2, meaning that's a stress world. Diabetes is a stressor that's in the system. The more stressors that you have going, the less effective your immune system is. So it turns out, here's a number, unfortunately, Americans, 60% of Americans have at least one comorbidity. They're slightly compromised, okay? But 40%, and this is where the issue comes from, have two or more simultaneous comorbidities. These are people that are ripe for infection. Why? Their immune systems are already compromised before the damn virus showed up. So it's like, well, then am I afraid of COVID? I said, well, if you're a healthy person, no. If you're, if you're a compromised person, then you should be taking care of yourself. I don't have to take care of myself. You have to take care of yourself because you're the one that's open. And yet we want everybody to put on the mask and everybody to get the vaccines. I go, that's stuff. I was going to say a bad word. That stuff is not valid. I go, what do you mean it's not valid? I say, the country of Gibraltar, 100% of that population has been vaccinated. And guess what? Delta went through there like a plague, man. And I say, yeah, but they were all vaccinated. I go, yeah, because the vaccine doesn't work. I go, well, yeah, but now Omicron. I go, no, the vaccine doesn't work. And they say, well, get your booster shot. I said, get the booster shot. It didn't even work the damn first time. Why should I take the second time? It does not work. And so the real issue is this. We have to take care of our health and not wait for other people to protect me from them. If I'm a vulnerable person, it's my responsibility to take care of my health. I'm not asking you to take care of my health. It's me. And so, yeah, there are vulnerable people. And the reason is we're out of harmony. As a population on this planet, we're so out of harmony that, hey, why are wolves out there? Oh, because they attack all the animals. I said, no, they don't attack all the animals. The wolves only go after the weakest animal. I go, why? Because that's the one they're going to catch. The strongest animal. They don't go, hey, look, a 12-point buck. Let me get that guy. I go, are you kidding me? That's the strongest one. Excuse me, it gets me excited. And I go, what's the point? And the answer is this. The wolves cull the herd of the weak ones so they don't propagate the weakness, okay? COVID is the wolf in human civilization. It says you are weak if you are, you have a serious consequence from COVID. You were already weak before the virus got there. And I say, so should I be afraid of the virus? I say, no, I should be more concerned about my health. It's my health. It's just like, if I got a serious problem, it's not because the virus was so against me, it's that my immune system was compromised before the damn virus showed up.
Mm.
So we scare everybody into, oh my God, the virus is going to kill you. I go, 99.9% of the people that get the COVID have a stupidly uncomfortable flu-like situation. A
Mm.
week, 10 days. And I go, then what? I say, if you already got the COVID, your immune system is going to be the best protection in the entire world against COVID. If you didn't get COVID and you got the vaccine, you think, oh, yeah, I'm protected. I go, nobody wants to emphasize the point that in the original vaccine report, in the original data, it never said it will prevent you from getting COVID or transmitting it. It said, if you're one of the serious ones in the hospital, this vaccine will help you. But what about if you're just a normal person? I said, vaccine is useless, totally useless. I
Mm.
go, an antibody is part of your immune system's way of identifying things that are toxic and wrong in your system. And I say, so they make an antibody against this spike, which is on the surface of this virus. I go, cool. Because if that virus ever shows up with that spike, that antibody is going to grab onto that spike and neutralize the virus. But then I say, but what about Delta? What about Omicron? What about Mu? All these variations. I go, genetically, the virus's spike has been altered from the original version. I say, so what? The antibody only recognizes the original version. Any variation that comes up, that antibody it's so perfectly designed to the first one that it doesn't necessarily see any alteration. If you alter that spike, it doesn't recognize it anymore. So I get this vaccine and I make an antibody against the spike, and then a new virus version shows up with a different spike. I go, the vaccine is useless,
Mm.
absolutely useless. And everyone thinks, well, the vaccine is the way to go. And I go, there are about, let's give a number approximation, 30 different sites on a virus, a coronavirus, where antibodies could be identifying something, 30 different ways to identify that virus. The vaccine only shows one way to identify the virus. So getting the vaccine only prevents you, it doesn't prevent you from getting the COVID, but it really interacts with that version of the COVID that was here first.
Mm.
Any version that came after that with a different spike, vaccine is useless. Yeah, take the booster. Hey, it didn't work on the first time. Why the hell would I take the booster the second time, third or fourth? I go, oh, but they're so free. The shots are free. I go, free? Who the hell is paying $1 trillion to make the vaccine? Oh, we paid
We
for it, but it
did.
was called taxes. The free shot is not free. The free shot is $1 trillion.
Mm.
And it's the pharmaceutical companies that have manipulated all this. And I'm not a friend of them, because you would say, oh, they're like bankers. Oh, they're our friends. I go, only if they need you. If they don't need you, they're not your friend at all, as a matter of fact,
Mm.
because their mission is what? Sell drugs.
Mm.
And I go, and I've been in the business of this, consciousness stuff for a few years. I hate it, many years, but the relevance, I had many opportunities to talk with executives of pharmaceutical companies on the side, outside of the public purview. And they'll honestly tell you this: if in their research they come up with something that is so great that it will stop whatever that problem is, they will not sell it to you.
Mm.
Because the idea is this: if I sell you that one drug, you use it, you got no more problem, then who the hell's going to buy any more drugs? So they sell you drugs that allow you to hold on, but never get out of the problem. And I say, well, like statins. Oh, statins because of cholesterol. I go, whoa, how long do I have to take statins? Well, how long do you want to live? It's like, what? The rest of my life, I have to take statins. And then here comes a fact about statins, because people don't recognize it. Only 3 out of 100 statin takers have any effect on their cholesterol that will help them. And so it says 3% of all the statin takers have a benefit. And then I go, and you ready? But the side effects of statin cause problems. And I go, oh, yeah, they're called side effects. I say, how many is that? 23%. I go, well, wait, I get the statins, 3 out of 100 get a benefit. 23 out of 100 have been toxified by it with side effects. And nobody wants to talk about this. And it's like, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because the programming that we have received is that we're victims. My God, everything can, don't eat that sugar. It's going to kill you. I go, wait a minute, we're victims. And I go, we are the most powerful forces on the planet. We can do magic. We can walk across those hot coals and not burn ourselves, okay? And I go, we are so powerful until you believe you are not powerful. The moment you believe you're not powerful, you will shut down your system because people don't understand this. Belief, the brain, the mind works like this. If I have a belief, the function of the mind is to create a life to manifest that belief. If I believe I'm a victim, then my life will open me up to be a victim. And then I could say, see, I told you I was a victim and look, I'm a victim. I go, it created your belief system. Life is a creation of your belief system. And therefore, if you go back and look at the way children grow up, about 60% of the beliefs that we acquire, especially before age 7, are disempowering and self-sabotaging or limiting beliefs like, who do you think you are? And it's like, if you really were smart, I say, I'm a creator. But people don't want to say that. It's like, who do you think you are? Nobody. Okay, no, you're the damn creator. And the problem is we have been sold victimization because then that makes us powerless in the face of people who are not victims. There's a famous book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I go, what does the book say? I said, well, we're programming in the first 7 years determines the character of our life. And I go, oh, that sounds interesting. I go, for 400 years, the Jesuits have told their followers, 400 years, they said, give me a child until it is 7 and I will show you the man. I go, what the hell does that mean? Just what I'm saying. The programming that you got in the first 7 years represents 95% of the rest of your life, whatever that program was. And if it's a program of empowerment, great. But most of the programs we get are disempowering. And I say, then 95% of my life is coming from these disempowering programs. I'm disempowering. I became a victim from what? Programming. And the idea that you two wonderful people are up to is let's help change that programming.
That's right.
Because if you keep the program, you are the program. And the only way out is to change your belief system. And this is so critical because yes, it actually works. It works because once you take that power back, then you are invincible. You are a creator. Every one of us is a creator. And I said, well, look at your creation. I go, hey, do you like what you have? And most people go, no, this is not what I want. Like, well, then if you're the creator, then how come your creation doesn't create heaven on earth for you? And so we can let Lipton close out a little bit to let you guys talk for a minute, but I'll close it out with this, is that the movie The Matrix is not science fiction. The movie The Matrix is a documentary. The movie's premise is everybody's been programmed. I go, that we already know. The first 7 years of your life is a program state, okay? That's what the Jesuits knew as well. And I go, but the cool part, and this is the wake up part, and I go, but in the movie, you could take a red pill and you could get out of the program. And I go, most everybody in this audience has taken that red pill at least once and changed their life just like that. I go, what was that red pill? Falling in love. When you fall in love, you stop playing programs and you stay conscious, you stay mindful. And the difference is this: subconscious is program, conscious is creative, wishes and desires. But 95% of the day, the conscious is thinking. I go, so what? I say, well, if the conscious is, it's like driving a vehicle. When the conscious is driving, it's looking out the window and making decisions, right? But if you have a thought, you're thinking. Consciousness is not looking out. Consciousness is looking in. A thought is inside, you know? So, hey, well, today's Tuesday, and I say, Leah, tell me what you're doing on Thursday. And it's probably not written in front of you at this moment. But in a thought process, in a moment, you could say, Thursday, what am I doing? Oh, and then you can tell me. And I say, where the heck did you get that answer? And you say, inside. I go, that is the problem.
Mm.
Thoughts take you inside for thinking, but then that means they're not looking outside. I go, what if you're driving a car and you have a thought? You're not looking out the window anymore. Conscious mind's not paying attention. Conscious mind's inside. Say, oh, this is dangerous. I go, subconscious is autopilot. Whatever the conscious was doing, if it stops doing it and does something else, subconscious can take over. Subconscious knows how to drive the car. You programmed it to drive the car.
Mm.
Subconscious knows how to walk, talk, do all these things. So I say, bottom line, 95% of the day is the amount of time we spend thinking. That means then 95% of the time, your conscious mind is not creating what's in front of you. Conscious mind's inside. Then I
Mm.
said, well, then what's creating your life? I mean, you were driving the car, you had a thought, you didn't kill anybody, hopefully. And I go, well, then who drove the car? And I say, subconscious is more powerful than the conscious mind anyway. Put it behind the wheel. As I just said a little while ago, even if you're coming into an accident, for sure, subconscious is going to take over. So I go, our lives are 95% from programming. And the
Mm.
programming started from just before birth, last trimester of pregnancy, up through age 7. And I say, well, 95% of your life is the program. And you go, what's my program? I say, because you don't know. You can't tell me what happened in the last trimester of pregnancy.
Mm.
You can't tell me the download that happened for a whole year from 0 to 1. You weren't conscious. How
Mm.
about from 1 to 2? No, another whole year. You have no idea. You were being programmed the entire time. And all of a sudden it says, we have a disconnect. I say, what? Well, your program's running your life 95% of the time. You have no idea what the hell the program is. And I go, yes, here's the answer, because yes, you do have an idea what the program is. Why? 95% of your life is coming from the program. Your life is a printout
Mm.
of your subconscious programs. So I said, what does that mean? I say, right now, all you have to do is just look at your life and go, all the things that you like that come into your life, they come in because you have a program to acknowledge them. That's why they're there. But here's the critical part. All the things that you want, desire, wish for, the things that you really want, and you have to work hard, and you struggle, and you sweat over it, and you're putting a lot of effort. I'm going to make this happen. Why are you working so hard? And the answer is cool, because it says, whatever that destination is, your program doesn't support it. And you're trying to override your program.
Mm.
And all of a sudden it says, what does that mean? I said, well, I have trouble with relationships. Oh, no, you have trouble with a program of relationships.
Oof.
And I go, the red pill, and this is why it works. Love, you stop thinking. I say, yeah, but what if I'm not thinking? I said, well, then your conscious mind is the one that's working all the time. You're not defaulting to subconscious. I go, yeah, but subconscious mind has wishes and desires. I go, well, great. Because the moment you fall in love, you have blah, 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 blah every day of your life. And then you meet this person. 24 hours later, you're going, oh, life is so beautiful. I love my life. And I say, well, you went from hell, blah, 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 blah. 24 hours later, you manifested heaven on earth. I go, how did that happen? The answer is so profoundly important, because it says, when you fell in love, you stopped thinking, you stayed present. It's called being mindful. Why? Well, look, if you've been looking for this person your whole life, why would you start thinking where you're not even being there anymore? You want to be there. So you stop thinking. And I say, well, then you're not creating from the habits. You're now creating from the wishes and desires. And when two people fall in love and they start creating from wishes and desires, heaven on earth is the result.
Ooh.
And I go, well, why is it relevant? I said, well, heaven on earth was always here. It was always here, except you have been defaulting to subconscious programs 95% of the day. And the relevance about all this is, okay, so what's the big story, Lipman? I got the story. You ready?
Yeah.
You can rewrite those subconscious programs and change them. And you can change them into characters that you want, not the one you got programmed with. And if you change the subconscious mind to put your wishes and desires as programs in the subconscious mind, here's the beautiful result. Whether you're thinking or you're not thinking, your mind is going to take you to wishes and desires.
Mm.
And that is where we should be coming from in our life, because everyone loves that honeymoon, baby. I go, yeah, but that's a manifestation live of your creative ability until you start thinking.
Mm,
And that's when the honeymoon disappears, because all of a sudden those negative programs that your partner never saw. Why? When I'm not thinking, I'm only playing wishes and desires. My partner looks at me and go, oh yeah, you got all the great characters and everything. I love that. And then the moment I start thinking, I'm
uh,
not coming from this one. I'm coming from the subconscious programs, and all of a sudden these behaviors show up. And my partner looks at me. I love it. Here's the stock phrase. Who are you? Where did that come from? Because you didn't, and here comes why this turns into an argument. So my partner Margaret comes in, asks me some loving question. I'm thinking, so my response is not coming from my conscious wishes and desires, coming from my program of
mm,
relationship, which I downloaded from my mother and father, how
Mm.
they behave. And so when I'm thinking, and Margaret asks me a nice question, and I turn around and go, blah, blah, blah. That's when she says, who are you? I've seen that behavior.
yes.
But here comes the problem. I just created that behavior. Did I create it with my conscious mind? I created
Mm,
it unconsciously. And the point is, I didn't even see the behavior I just did. And then she says to me, what kind of behavior is that? And I'm going, what are you talking about? I didn't see my own behavior.
yeah.
And that's all of us. And that's when the honeymoon falls apart. And I got to conclude, at least there's a positive side. There is a positive side. Because when any of those negative behaviors come up, if both partners in the relationship recognize that these negative things come from an unconscious state, all right, rather than an argument, oh, that was stupid behavior, which I didn't see, it's like, you didn't notice, you didn't pay attention to what you just said. Do
Mm.
you really mean what you just said? And all of a
Mm,
sudden, thinking comes in, and thinking goes, no, oh, and then I say, okay, we can change those programs. Great. Okay. Uh,
mm,
an argument prevents you from getting there. A
Mm.
discussion opens the doorway. And if you rewrite the negative programs, then you have heaven on earth every day for the rest of your life.
mm,
I can say, well, the rest of my life, I say, well, experimentally, all I know is it's about 25 years of being on a honeymoon. I presume it's going to be the rest of my life.
oh,
And the idea is, we are in a struggle world because we've been programmed to expect the struggle and participate in the struggle as programming.
mm,
And the reality is, you can disconnect from this place and you can actually live a honeymoon, heaven on earth, every day of your life. Oh, that's a good story. No, it's more than a story. That's a true science. That's how it works. Okay, I'll let you guys talk now because I talk so much.
wow.
Well, I would love to talk about the how. So, the how to rewrite your subconscious programming. And I would like to also ask you if you see value in addition to, you could say instead of, but I know you wouldn't say that. But in addition to rewriting your subconscious programming, do you see value in going backwards? In other words, in psychotherapy or in going back to the past?
No.
Because
And
so
you
many
say, but
people
why didn't I see value in that? And I said, because when you go back and replay that problem, you've exercised that problem again. You have pushed the buttons that created the problem in the first place. That's why they have so many boxes of tissues in the psych office, because you're going to cry your eyes out. Why? Because you're going to be replaying the trauma of what caused the problem. And this is the cool part. It no longer exists. It's not there anymore, except for you carrying it with you. And there's a
Mm,
point where I say, well, then why should I go back and repeat this? Because it's just going to cause a replay of the same program, which reinforces that program. I go, I don't care about the past. I care about, here I am today. I want to go this way. What do I want today? I don't care about what happened back there. Not that I should forget about it, because I don't want to replay it again, but it doesn't control me anymore, because I say replaying that is just the, putting in the old days, they had records you guys don't know about, but they had needles on the record. And if you keep
I've heard
playing
of
the
'em.
record, the needle gets deeper in the groove. I go, we don't want to play it again. So it's irrelevant to go back. I like it. There's a story of two Buddhist monks, and monks are not, the male monks are not allowed to touch women. And these two monks are walking along the path and they come to a river and there's a woman all dressed up in her wedding finery and she's crying and crying. And it's, what's wrong? She says, well, I can't get across the water and, I'll ruin my clothes. And so one monk just picks her up, walks across, drops her on the other side. And then the two monks walk down the street. About half hour, 45 minutes later, the one that didn't pick her up turns to him and said, you picked up a woman back there. And then the other monk says, I put her down 45 minutes ago. You're still carrying her. And if you get the story is this: it was over. The history is over. Do I want to repeat it? No. So there's a way of seeing what it was, but I don't have to repeat it because I have to say, what is it I want? Not what is it I don't want. A lot of people go, I don't want this. I go, yeah, but what is it you want? People have more problems answering what it is they want than saying what they don't want. And the important part about this is you can only move into the future that you want by acknowledging what you want, not saying, I don't want that anymore. I said, well, that didn't give you your future. And so, yes, there are ways to reprogram the subconscious. And when you do, your life will change in permanently and without going back. Because I said, okay, look, my mother and father were not the models of relationship. It was kind of dysfunctional, but I was a kid in that family. And for 7 years, what children do is they observe the parents, siblings, and community. That's how they download behavior. What is the accepted behavior in a family? What's the accepted behavior in a community? They see it, they download it, it becomes a program. So I download my mother and father's relationship. Well, guess what? For 40 years, I couldn't get a relationship off the ground. Why? Because 95% of the time I'd reflect back and I'd become my father in a relationship, which didn't work then. And it sure as hell didn't work for me. And the point about it was what? The issue was very simply this: until I change that program, it's a habit. The subconscious is habit.
Yeah.
It's not all bad. I mean, the subconscious got great habits. Like, when did you two learn how to walk? Kyle, you remember? No, you don't remember. You were 2 years old. I go, why was it relevant? You learned a habit of walking. Guess what? You can be 102 and you'll still be walking from the same habit you picked up when you were 2. So there are good things. How to drive a car. Now that I know how to drive a car, I don't have to think about it. You get in the car, you put the key in. You're not thinking of like the first day, like mirrors, windows, noise, engine, pedals, people. But today you get in there, you put the key in, you don't even pay any attention. It's an automatic behavior. But all of our 95% of our behavior is automatic. But now you have to look at your life. That's why I said I could not make a relationship. Why? My programming of how to make a relationship was dysfunctional. That was an unconscious thing. So I had to go back in and change. What is it that makes a great relationship? What is it that I want in a great relationship? Let me put that into a program. Why? The 95% of my life is going to come from that program. And that is the empowerment that everyone needs to understand, because we all look at ourselves as victims. That's what we've been programmed to be, victims. Because the moment you believe you are a victim, you are powerless. And a victim being powerless then demands somebody to, help them. And you give up your life, money, whatever it is, to have somebody else take over that victim part of you because I'm powerless. I go, you were only programmed to be powerless. We are creators, every one of us. And if you ever touched what the honeymoon effect was, even if it was only for a short period of time, you experienced something that you actually created. It was not an accident. It was a creation. If it's short-lived, it's only because how long can you stay mindful without thinking? Because the moment is when you're thinking is when the bad programs show up.
Oof.
Oh man, this guy never shuts up. So I have to let you.
Oh,
Okay.
I actually love what you're talking about, and I would love to circle it back to the relationship example you were talking about with your wife. So something happens with where you become your father and you get mad and you react a certain way, and she's like,
Without knowing it, because
without knowing
remember,
it.
it was habit. I didn't
Yeah,
see it. I didn't see it.
yeah,
I'll give a quick example. You're riding in the car. You know how to drive, okay? You're
yeah.
riding a car. You got a passenger, and as you're towing down the street, go, oh yeah, we're talking blah blah blah, yeah. And then about 5 minutes later, you look out the window and you realize I haven't paid attention to the road for the last five. Oh my God, we got this far, huh? And I go, okay, here's the questions. Question. What did you talk about with the passenger? And you go, oh, we talked about this and this and this and this.
Mm,
Question number two, what was on the road during that 5 minutes? And you go,
mm,
I have no idea. And I
mm,
said, that's the example. When the conscious mind is focused on this, subconscious took over driving, but it wasn't conscious to say, oh, look what's on the road, see all this stuff. No, conscious did not see what was going on because you weren't operating the car from conscious. You were doing it from program.
So your
This is,
program, yeah. So your program comes up as in reaction to something, and all of a sudden you're reacting as your father. And
yeah,
now your wife's looking at you saying, "Who is this guy? What do you do next?" Because it's like, all right, you've been triggered. What then happens? Like for you guys, because you're living in the honeymoon still, and
yeah.
that's my ideal.
So,
I want to know what you do.
well, the conventional way is the argument.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't say that. Yes, you did say that. I didn't see what the hell I just said. It came out automatically. So I have no idea what that you saw it. I didn't see it.
yeah.
So then you blamed me for my behavior. And I said, I didn't even see the damn behavior. So I don't know what you're talking about. And then blah, 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 and argument and all that. The opportunity is this. If I know she has programs that she plays,
Mm,
and she knows I have programs that I play that are different from the love when we come together in the conscious creation, then there's a choice. Do I want to make an argument with my mate, or do I want to have an opportunity to say, well, is that behavior serving us? No? You want to change it? Oh my God, because then Leah wants to know how to change it. So, we'll have to talk about that at
Please,
some point.
please. Yeah.
Yeah, there are three ways. This is the important part. Number one, there are two minds: conscious mind, which is connected to your spirituality, your personal identity. You have a unique conscious mind. That's you.
mm,
Subconscious mind is habit programs. It doesn't have to be you walking. That's not. That's just something you learn. Program: driving a car, playing an instrument. These are programs. You put them in there. Okay. So the issue is this: the two minds have different functions. Conscious mind is creative. That's the one with the wishes and desires. The honeymoon is hiding in there. And I go, and subconscious is habits. So there's a difference between creativity and habits. Okay. And more importantly, and this is the point, Leo, where it really comes in, and it comes like this, is they learn in different ways. I go, oh, you didn't know that, did you?
mm,
Because the conscious mind is creative. It can learn in any different way. Somebody could watch this podcast, walk away and go, oh my God, I just learned something all new. Okay. So the conscious mind can learn reading a self-help book, go watch a video, go hear a lecture, even just go, aha, I have a new idea. I just changed conscious mind. It's creative. Subconscious mind is habit. I go, well, what's the relevance? I say, when you have a habit, the system does not want to change a habit. You learned how to walk when you were 2. You don't want to change that program. You learned already. You don't want to wake up one day and go, how do I walk? No, that wouldn't work. So habits resist change. That's the important part. They don't want to change. So I say, oh, well, then how do I change a habit mind? I say, well, how did the habit mind learn in the first place? Because it learns in a different way than conscious creativity. Conscious is smart. Man, all of us have some really smart conscious awareness and intelligence, but we're not operating from the conscious. 95 is coming from the lower part. I say, so I can look at my behavior, and as I just said, You know what your programs are. You can't get into a relationship. Well, then you got a relationship program problem. You can't get a good job. Well, you have doubts about your own, worthiness and all that. So each place where we struggle represents a program that doesn't support that. So I go, I want to change the program. I said, well, there are 3 ways to change the program. So here we go.
Let's go.
Yes.
Okay, ask them to put another coin into the machine to hear the rest of the story. Oh, okay. Okay. Number 1, how did you get your first programs? The answer is you were programmed from the last trimester of pregnancy through age 7. I say, how did that happen? I say, because the brain vibration, putting wires on your head and reading the EEG, electrical activity of the brain, up until age 7, the predominant activity is not conscious. The predominant activity is theta, which is just below conscious. Theta is imagination. That's how you have a tea party. You pour nothing into the cup. You drink nothing. You go, that was the best tea I ever had. And I go, imagination. A child rides a broom, and the mother, give me the broom. And the child's, no, it's a horse. To that child, it's not a broom. They're riding a horse. I go, theta, imagination. Okay. But theta is hypnosis. I go, why is that? How many rules did we just mention to be a member of a family and a member of a community, to be a participant and supportive of those things? I say thousands of rules. How your dad talks to you is not how your dad talks to the neighbor's kid. It's not how the dad talks to the mother. It's not how the dad talks to the neighbor's mother. It's not how the dad talks to the policeman. And as I go on, you start to say, oh my God, I have to have so many different scripts. How I talk is different depending on who I'm talking to. And I say, well, those are programs. And I say, how do you learn them? I say, the first 7 years, your brain is functioning below consciousness in a vibration called theta. And theta is hypnosis. And this is why nature makes it so easy for us to learn thousands of things, because all I have to do is observe them like a video recorder. I observe, and what I observe is downloaded. That is a program. Okay. So I go, oh, then I learn from what? Watching. Okay. And I say, so if I want to change the program, I can get back into a state of theta, which is the open record subconscious. It's below consciousness. If you're in theta, you're not even being conscious at that moment. You're at a lower vibration. Okay. I go, so how do I get into theta? Well, hypnotherapist. Remember, there are levels of vibration I mentioned about, bring it again. Delta is the lowest vibration, that's sleep. The next level is theta, that's imagination, hypnosis. And the next higher vibration is alpha, calm consciousness. And then the next one is beta, schoolroom focus consciousness. I go, when we're sleeping, we're in delta, and before we wake up, twilight reverie, we're into theta a little bit, and then we wake up and we're in alpha and we're conscious, and then we go to work and then we're in beta. But then when you come home, you reverse it. I came home in beta, but I want to relax. Oh, alpha is calm consciousness. So I go from beta, I come home, I'm relaxing, I'm in alpha. And then the moment I'm going to go to sleep, alpha shuts off and I'm at the next lower vibration, which is theta. I go, so what does that mean? I say, if you put earphones on as you're going to bed, you're still awake and you put a program of what you want to be true in your life, self-help program. I say, so the self-help program is coming in. I say, if you're still awake, you can hear the story of what's going on. But the moment you fall asleep, guess what? Conscious mind's not paying attention. Conscious mind shut off right now. I say, yeah, but for the next little bit of time, you're operating in theta, which is where the subconscious is listening, not the conscious. And so if you put earphones on and you start to, you fall asleep, whatever's playing through those earphones as a program is playing directly into the subconscious. And it's a short period of theta. So you repeat this at a number of nights in a row. And after a number of nights of repeating it, theta, subconscious, hypnosis will take that program, install it into your habit subconscious mind. So I can rewrite my programs by playing what it is that I want into my mind while I'm sleeping, which is the other cool part. Oh no, to make it work better, go to sleep. I was like, I don't have to study. No, go to sleep. I go, so that's how you learn in the first 7 years. That's why maybe you've seen like old fashioned pictures where a hypno guy was a hypnotherapist and he has a watch and it's going back and forth. And what is he saying? You're getting tired.
Yeah.
You're getting sleepy. I said, what is that doing? Lowering the vibration. So when you get right into theta, now he's talking to you, giving you a program because he's lowered you down into the record theta. So we have that every night. So if you put earphones on every night, repeat that tape. Oh my God, that's a dated thing. That program that you want to be true, it will automatically do it. And I love it because how much effort do you have to do? I say, go to sleep. That's your effort. And that works. Then I say, yeah, but I learned programs after age 7 where I'm no longer in theta as my predominant activity. And I go, yeah, like, hey, you learned how to drive a car, you can learn how to play a music instrument, you can learn a job, you can learn all these things. I say, yeah, but how did you learn? Because you're not in theta. And here comes habituation, practice. You want to drive a car? Well, get in the damn car and practice it. I always love it because, well, I want to be an airplane pilot. I say, well, that's really great. I think you can do it, but I'm not getting in a damn airplane until you practice. You know? And I say, what does practice do? Habit. The more you practice something is habit. So the new agey talk, which I always laugh at, is fake it till you make it. I go, what the hell does that mean? I say, well, let's say you're an unhappy person. I say, you want to be happy? I say, so what? I say, all day long, whenever you can remember, you go, I am happy. I am happy. To yourself, I am happy. I am happy. I go, you're not happy. You're miserable. I say, I don't care. I keep repeating because it's habituation. I am happy. And there'll be a period of time where you repeat this, and then there'll be a day you wake up. You don't have to repeat it because now the program is downloaded. You woke up happy.
Mm.
And now you've created a new thing. So whatever it is you want, that's a habituation process. And lastly, because the world is in a crazy bad place right now, people don't want to talk about it. They want to talk about COVID. They want to talk about Ukraine and all that. And I go, well, this conversation you haven't been talking about for over 15 years, recognized by science, is that human behavior is causing a mass extinction on this planet. We're losing organisms faster than any other time in history. And it's due to human behavior, not living in harmony with nature. And I go, so the relevance is we're precipitating our own extinction. It's called the sixth mass extinction of life on this planet, which by definition means there was 5 mass extinctions before this time. What is a mass extinction? Life is thriving, life is going, and then some cataclysmic event, boom, slams it. Up to 90% of life gets wiped out, and then it starts all over again. Well, 5 times. The last one, 66 million years ago, was when the earth was, oh my God, we had forests and jungles and all over the place. And we had dinosaurs. And a comet, a big comet hit the Yucatan Peninsula, but it upended the web of life. And when the web of life got upended, at that time, 75% of animal life on the planet disappeared, including all of the dinosaurs. And then it started all over again till now. And now human behavior is undermining, like we're telling nature, I always love it because the mission of science from way back 1600s, the mission of science is, ready? To dominate and control nature. I go, you forget, folks, we are nature. We are nature. You can't dominate nature. We're a piece of nature. You can learn to live in harmony with nature, but when every effort that we have to tell nature what we want, this is how we're going to do it. Let's say, like fishing. We've overfished the ocean. We polluted the water. We're destroying the breeding grounds, and no one has come to a simple reality that science has been saying for 15 years. There will be no fish in the ocean, planet Earth, 2048. That's not a million years from now. That's decades. NASA ran a whole scientific assessment, global assessment, and said, and listen to the word, civilization, industrial civilization, the one we're in, is facing an irreversible collapse within the next 2 decades. When I say the word irreversible, it's not MAGA, make America great again. It says, no, it's not going back. We have to change the way we're living on this planet because human behavior has made a mess out of the garden, and we didn't learn to live in harmony. And nature is saying, we don't need no stinking humans here. They're ruining the garden. And so we're like a virus ourselves in the garden, and nature is going to eliminate us. And that's what all the science is coming to. We're in the process of being eliminated because we are the ones that are the only ones not in harmony in the damn planet. A garden is not a battle zone. A garden is the height of cooperation. A garden, it's all working together. I go, except for us. We're the only ones not working in harmony with the garden. And nature gave us an opportunity. It says, look, you either take care of yourselves and start living like the indigenous people, the Native Americans, okay, the First Nation people in Canada, Aborigines in Australia, Druids in Europe. These people from 10,000 years ago were the ones that knew this is a garden and their job is to take care of the garden. And since that time, we have come to pillage the garden to get any damn thing you want at any cost. Polluting, yeah, go dig up all this stuff and pollute the world with what you just did, and all that. So it's a wake-up call. And it's like, well, when's this evolution going to happen? I go, we are undergoing a devolution. We're going extinct. That's a fact of science for 15 years that nobody wants to pay attention to. They've been saying it for 15 years, but it's a big problem. So let's don't bother the people with this problem. I go, oh my God, don't bother the people. We are the ones that are the problem. We don't know how to live in harmony with ourselves. This is where we're talking about relationships, or with the world around us. The disharmony is causing the collapse. And so, yeah, I need to change fast. So now I say, well, there are two ways. One, we underdo self-hypnosis, earphones, blah, blah, blah. Number two, practicing a new way of life. Practice it, it becomes a habit. Number three, and this is the cool one, something called energy psychology. I go, what the hell is that? It's a different version of psychology. It's not going back and talking about all the crap that happened. It's a way of saying, what do I want to make different right now? Change it right now. And I have on my website, just to say real simple, brucelipton.com. I have videos and audios and written work and resources, especially like of energy psychology, about 25 different versions. I go, why is this relevant? And here's the magic. Because these alternate forms of psychology, energy psychology, this is like totally amazing. You can change a belief program you had your whole life. You could be 40, 50, 60, and you've had this program your whole life. With energy psychology, you can change it in about 10 or 15 minutes. What? Yes. I am very fortunate enough to know that my whole life changed with energy psychology. I couldn't write biology of belief for years. I tried to write it because my subconscious program was, if you write this book, all your scientific colleagues are going to leave you and throw you under the bus. Why? Because you're going to talk about spirituality, and we don't talk about that in science, and I was going to do it. And my subconscious said, Bruce, if you write this book, you're going to lose your credibility. So I get halfway through the book and all of a sudden the energy disappeared. Couldn't write the book. I did it about 3 times. Energy psychology revealed my subconscious program was protecting me. And I said, I have to change this program. And it was a 15-minute process. And then this program, I wrote the book just like stream of consciousness flowed out after getting rid of a program that limited my ability to do that. And as I said, I couldn't get a damn relationship off the ground for 40 plus years. And I'm so happy to acknowledge the fact that my partner Margaret and I have been on a honeymoon for 25 years, waking up every day going, oh my God, we're still here. Let's have some fun. Let's go out and enjoy the garden that we came from. But you have to step outside of that conventional world because they don't want to let you out because they own you with the programs of you being a victim.
Mm.
And as long as you're a victim, you're going to buy whatever. How many times do I need to get a booster? 5 times? Yeah, okay, I'll get it 5 times. They said that. And I go, it wasn't worth getting a booster the first time, but you bought 5 of them.
Mm.
Why? You're a victim, and you're going to say, what is it I need to do? And the
Mm.
reality is, what you need to do is stop being a victim. That you are empowered. And empowered people are the ones that can take the honeymoon and make it a way of life every day of your life. You wake up in love, you spread love all day long, you go home, you have love, you go to bed, you're sleeping, your conscious mind lets go, and your subconscious is still keeping love all around you. And this is what we need. And thank you too for letting me just go on and on and on and talk a lot. But this to me is the most beautiful part. Why? Hey, I came from the other side to come to this side. And the beautiful part about coming to this side is I wouldn't change a thing. I
Mm.
am so living the the most beautiful, wonderful life, you know? And I'm not ready to let go. So even though I'm 77, I'm not fooling around, man. I'm going out there and enjoying it every day that I can. And I can see that on your faces, both you, Kyle and Leah. You have this in your vision, in your mind, and in your world. And I'm so happy that you let me go on and on and on and talk.
Oh,
Thank you.
this is amazing. It was such an honor to have you. And I just appreciated all that information that I know the whole collaborative will appreciate all of this.
I sure hope so, because everyone who wakes up to this is another participant in manifesting heaven. And the proportion will change. The more people that wake up, the more the planet will get rid of these problems like the war. It's barbaric, it's ancient, it doesn't help. And it's when is the world going to say, we don't want any more? The moment they decide that, there is no more. But it's old fashioned thinking. I'm afraid of them. Let's get more weapons. I go, wrong,
Yeah.
wrong.
Thank you so much for this interview. This was incredible.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even give you a lot of time to go say, hey, ask a question in there, because I just kept
Oh,
talking.
no.
You actually answered. I had a list of questions in my mind, and you one by one answered all of them except the 1 or 2 that I asked. So I'm completely
I
satisfied.
had 2 small questions left, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
They're very
let's do
small,
'em.
but they're very small.
Yeah.
One, everyone in the spiritual community refers to you, Greg Braden, and Joe Dispenza as the big 3. Have you ever heard that? And what
The
is
three
your
amigos. The three
what, yeah,
amigos.
what's the 3 amigos? What's your relationship like with them? I always
They're- I love working with them
Yeah.
because they are all based in integrity. They all come from a truth. They all have knowledge and wisdom. They're not afraid to stand up and say, you're on the wrong path. And if you understand this, there is the right path. And so I enjoy working with them because I know whatever comes out of their mouth is something I'm going to say, yep, I agree with this a lot. And like Greg is like, he's the closest thing to a brother that I could ever imagine. And we just love going out there because we reinforce each other in our effort to what? Wake up, people. You don't
Mhm.
even know how powerful you really are
Yeah.
because you lost that program. And we just want to say there's an opportunity to get it back again. Because if you get it back, then why not have a honeymoon for your entire life? I think that's a great idea.
I do too.
Yeah. Then the last question I just want to ask, because this is the Heart Coherence Collaborative, the power of the heart to you, what does it mean? And
The power of the heart is an amplifier. Let's say you've heard of Deva Premal and Mitten.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They're friends of ours, and we can sit around with them and a few friends, and they have an acoustic guitar and they're playing and they're singing, and there's just a few of us can hear this, right?
Mhm.
But when you go into the amphitheater, they can do the same thing. With the amplifiers, you can get 10,000 people to hear the same story. So I say, so what's the relevance? And the idea is this: the brain is electromagnetic activity. That's why I said put wires on. You could read the electrical vibration, but it's not very powerful. It only can go a short distance away. It can just really affect you personally, more or less. The heart is an amplifier, meaning that the electrical activity of the heart is so powerful that I can put a probe, about 20 feet away from you and read your heartbeat, because the electrical activity of that is like an amplifier that's blasting. So I say, then what is the consequence of bringing your mind and your heart into harmony, which is Heart Math, which is the organization that involves a lot of that. I say, what's the consequence? I say, then my heart will amplify my consciousness and broadcast it out in the world with more power. So my creativity is greatly enhanced.
Mm,
So the idea of coming from your heart, which is really a carrier wave to carry the consciousness, broadcast it to a bigger field, gives you empowerment over a field where if you just start operating from your wishes in your mind, it won't go very far. But if you
mm,
put it from your heart, and that's where gamma comes in. Remember, we talked about coming from your heart, all of a sudden gamma go, yeah, that's a high broadcast frequency, man. That's the one that broadcasts it out into the world. And it's the vibration uh, that shapes the world because the material existence that we all see is an illusion of our consciousness. Everything is energy. The
mm.
vibration of your consciousness is an energy that can shape your life. Not can, does shape your life. Now, the question is this: are you broadcasting harmony or disharmony? Are you broadcasting bad programs? Because you're going to get the consequence of that. But the
Mm,
heart is an amplifier. And that's when they say you come from your heart. You're
mm.
actually coming from your consciousness, putting it on a carrier wave, and your heart sending it out to the world. And that's why when people are coming from their heart, they have much more power in manifesting anything around them than people who are just coming from their head.
Mm.
And this becomes really critical because the heart is the driver that makes it work.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I
Ah,
feel complete.
this
This
feels
was
so
amazing.
complete. I feel this is utter perfection. Thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you.
Thank you for this, and but more importantly, let's thank our audience because anyone who picks up on this idea then becomes a contributor to the positive world that we want. And
Is
that's
there
the
any way our
reason.
group can support you?
What's that?
Is there any way our group can support you on
You
your journey?
just did.
All right.
You
Thank you.
just did. You
Yeah.
gave me a platform,
Awesome.
and that's all we needed. Is people are going to change when their consciousness is ready for them to change. It's
Mm,
like I always say that the teacher comes when the student is ready. And I go, well, the student is ready when they're ready to open up the consciousness, then the teacher of consciousness will show up and help them. But you can't tell people, open up your consciousness, now time to create. They have to come from the point of, I want to do this. I can't make anybody do this. Nobody can make anybody do this. But if you offer it, and I said, well, what's the way of offering? And I said, well, like you two guys, I said, all you have to do is radiate the joy and the love. Uh, Conclusion, just to, shorten it. Remember when Harry met Sally, the movie,
Yeah.
and then Sally fakes the orgasm in the restaurant,
Yeah.
and the waiter's at another table with a woman, and the woman looks over and she says, "I want what they're having over there." Well, if you guys are the ones that are activating this joy,
mm,
people want that experience. They have to see it. Otherwise, it's a fiction. I mean, I didn't believe in love because of my failure for 40 plus years. At some point, it's like, oh, that's just Hollywood. And I go, but now it's like, oh no, there's an understanding. And when people are ready, they'll take it. And you guys are very critical in this for me because you open up an audience of people who want to see something different in their world. And
okay.
this is just trying to give them some information. It's like, not just you can see something different, you can be something different. And there's no better experience that I could ever imagine now that I'm like 77, I would have to say, than the part of learning how to be in love every day, how to
Mm,
wake up in love and carry that all day long and go to sleep with that love as well, because we're moving a world into a different vibe. And so I appreciate you guys as reflecting that because people want this. And it's like you can get it if you know how to, if you know the mechanism. You don't know the mechanism, it's like, how does that work? Well, we know how it works and we just talked about it.
thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you
Thank
for being,
you.
thank you for being that teacher of consciousness before, I mean, really before it was even cool or acceptable to say a
Mm,
lot of these things. You really are the OG of
pioneer, yeah.
this whole thing when it
Well,
was kind of hard to probably even say these things. And you had to write the book that you felt like people would reject you for. So thank
well,
you.
the universe is taking care of that. They've taken care of me. The universe just letting go and not trying to control it was the whole thing. Don't control it. Because then we want to tell the universe, this is how we want it. And I go, the universe has a bigger picture of how things work. And when things don't work, people get all upset. It didn't work. I'm going to make it work. And I go, if you stop long enough, it's the universe saying there's another way to do it. And it's better than the way you're going. So we have to learn to let go because we want to hold on and make it go the way we want it to go. And I go, but the universe is saying, no, it doesn't work. So let go.
That's a great thought to close on.
Yeah. This has been an honor and a dream come true.
I so appreciate you guys. And thank you for letting me spout stuff.
You're a good friend, Bruce.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate everything you're doing. Thank you very much, friends.
Yes. Sending love to everybody.
In this video, Bruce Lipton talks about the 3 ways to reprogram your subconscious mind. The first one is hypnotherapy. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I also make custom recordings for people to reprogram their subconscious mind to be in alignment with their dreams and goals. I also practice EFT, and that's one of those methods of energy psychology that he talked about at the end. Click the link below, and it will take you to my business page where you can book a 20-minute free consultation call. I look forward to helping you reprogram your subconscious mind.